Hey, hey, can
Good
you hear me?
afternoon.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's cool. All right.
Hear you.
All right. Cool. How are you?
A little bit tired. I'm doing good though. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can send me your OPGG. Do you have the game on stream or?
Yeah. I
Okay,
have
cool.
a timestamp too.
Okay, cool. Just send the links and we'll go through it. Oh, yeah, but yeah, sorry I was quite late. Something came up the morning, so I had to attend to that first.
Yeah, man, it's all good. It's just life.
Happens.
Happens. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like what do you told me that let's see. Oh, like wave management and manipulation. Like these are the things you want to work on?
Yeah. Like if I could do that, I would just have more of an edge to carry outs like a win.
Mhm. Okay. All right, let me bring up my pen. Okay. Your OPGG is I Love You Team. Is that it?
Yeah.
Great name. Sorta. I don't know if the team feels that way about you, but all right.
Just trying to.
You can see, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I don't have AppLot, so you just have to work with Apex 7. But
hmm
all right, cool. Let's see. Zed, Viego, Yone. Why the sudden change to Annie?
I thought it'd be better to try and learn and improve.
Okay. Oh, do you have any favorite colors? Red, blue,
Red.
purple, red. Okay, you can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So, so the way I'm gonna do it is that I'm gonna go through your OP. All right, like we're doing now. We're gonna go through like your champions, why you're playing them, if you should keep playing them, like what's the goal of like trying to play this one champion, um, and like we're trying to basically I'm trying to find your champion pool. Because as much as the fact that like well people are always saying like oh if you want to learn mid lane if you want to go back to the basics you just do Annie, she's simple, or Lux. Both of them are really simple. But sometimes like if you're already good, like if you're already good at a champion, decent, not the best win rates, not the best KD, but like
Yeah.
not too bad.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like the only thing about the Zed, like I love the character, but it's
hmm
like you pick an 80 mid and people just like the enemy team just seems to play smarter and your team will just pick weird stuff.
hmm Um, I think
And you're also like full AD usually
yeah, like if
in the
if you're
like
full
low
AD,
elo.
then most of the time, like I think in low elo it doesn't matter as much. Like around like silver, gold, plat, maybe even like low diamond. It most of the time it really doesn't matter as long as you're getting either Serratas or Lord Dorms early. Because a lot of times you like it's really rare that you'll see like a team where they're like, oh hey, they're full AD and they actually itemize good good armor items. It's quite rare. But yeah, like if you're not comfortable, then I can understand. Um, but yeah, like if you're playing Annie, that's fine too. Which is the game? Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Do you like why? When do you go proto belt and when do you not go? Like when do you go other items?
I usually go proto belts if it's like they have like squishier champs. If I can like actually proto belts and not get punished for it. If they're going to engage on like my team or they have like a more melees, then I go the Leandries.
So if they have range, you go proto belt, right? Or
Yeah.
rocket belt. Uh, range. And then if they're melee, you go Leandries. Is that it?
Yeah.
When do you go for? Frost, Everfrost.
I went for like Frost one time when I was behind.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like the HP would be nice. It was also into melee, like an Aurelia.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, I think you have some of the points quite well. Like if you're going rocket belt, this like most of the time this is fine. Because if you want to engage or if they're hard to reach, I think rocket belt is really good. Um, it works like it does its job, right? It's basically a gap closer. Um, so this is fine. I think Leandries, if you don't need the gap close and they are coming into well they're not, well not specifically coming into you, but like if you really don't need the gap close and you want to like get some damage on, I think Leandries is always a good choice. It's pretty good. Especially if they're already building MR. Then you just get like early White Staff Leandries. It's a pretty good combo. But like let's assume that they don't have MR at all. I think Ludens is also an okay choice. You can always like rotate between these two. And then when it comes to Everfrost, I like Everfrost when they have things that jump onto you. So like yeah, like Irelia,
The
Irelia,
a Zing.
Camille, yeah, Xingjiao. Um, basically things that want to hop onto you like their threats. I think Aerofrost is actually pretty good. Like it's quite underrated for this usage. So these are fine. Um, and then
So
like
like
yeah,
it's like Ludens
if the enemy is like not
sometimes
getting
like
MR at all. But in that case, you would probably want to think about getting Rocket instead, because they basically do like they're basically the same item. It's just that one provides a gap closer, and the other one is like if you're confident. Think of it this way: Rocket Belt gives you the chance to jump onto them. Ludens is like if they're all squishy, and if you're ahead, I think Ludens is fine.
it's a little bit more burst
Yeah, a
and
little
it's
bit more burst. Exactly. Because they're already jumping onto you, so you don't need Rocket Belt to get on top of them. But it really depends, right? Like if you're even, I think Everfrost might be the better item here. And if you're behind, Everfrost is definitely the better item than Ludens. I think Ludens is only ever good if you're really ahead. It's very snowbally.
yeah, has the
Yeah,
also has the AoE and magic pen.
yeah. Not I think the AoE is fine. Like the bonus damage is fine. I'm more I value this item more for its M pen. Because you get 6 flat when you buy the item, and every additional gives you 5. Um, so I think like you could get like if you full items, you probably get like 4 plus, so it's like 26 pen. And if you get like M pen boots, you probably get a total of 44 M pen just from having full build. And obviously, if you have like white staff, then this gets divided by this number. It's math. Don't think too much about it. Just know that you can burst someone down. All right. We don't have to think
Right.
about this.
Right.
Cool. Okay. So that's items. Runes. What do you always go? Do you always go for electrocute, or do you always go for yeah? Like I'm seeing like 2 variants here.
Yeah. I tried electrocutes into the Aurelia just because like she trades really hard, but it didn't really feel that good. I don't know if it's actually what I should have went.
You wait. You went electrocute into Irelia?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
one of the wins down there.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um.
like
Mhm.
for that rune setup, do you think it's like wrong
Oh wow.
or
Okay.
well, I mean not wrong, but like uh could be better to do something else?
I think this is. I mean, you're going over Frost. You have a decent score line. You see, this is kind of. Oh my! Wait, I just realized. Oh, okay. Okay. I just realized you have absurdly peculiar CS count, CS numbers. But yeah. When we're talking about runes, I think this is fine. Assuming that you bought Everfrost anyway, so you shouldn't have a mana issue. Although I might say like instead of going for um, what's this rune again? I forgot. Instead of going for time tonic, I think going for cosmic insight might be better, especially if you're going for Everfrost. Even if you're going rocket belt, I think like cosmic insight is better for two reasons.
Does
One,
it still give the item CDR?
what's that? Yeah, it does.
Oh,
It does.
okay.
This gives so it gives 18 summoner spell haste. That's like give or take 50 to 60 seconds off your summoners. Flash at least, not your summoners. Um, and it's a really big deal, especially if you're getting, I guess, let's say if you're getting Ionian boots, it's a really big deal because like you have your flash is earlier, is like a minute, like a minute,
Mm,
maybe like 10 or 15 seconds earlier than the enemies, assuming they don't have your build. A lot of people don't take into account for this because now because you have like your flash earlier, you can really mess them up in a lot of like team fights. Um,
right, like
yeah,
around the drag and
yeah, they don't see it coming. Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, like most like even like the thing is like maybe this is less effective when the higher low you go because like most people will probably go for this build as well. So like they'll be like okay like she has uneven boots, she has like inspiration, so most likely she has cosmic insight, blah blah blah. Simple calculations, and I'm like okay fine, maybe your flash is like 3 minutes 30 seconds or so. And then they'll take into account. But like in lower low, you really can abuse this really hard. Um, I'm not too big of a fan when it comes to time warp tonic. I think in this case it's fine because you're against melee, and I think Annie with corruption potion is okay into this matchup. Because you can spam autos if you click well you can dodge you can E
mm.
and dodge Aurelia's. Is it her E?
My
Yeah, like her stun.
yeah,
Yeah.
my
Uh.
my thought with it was just like for like the burst heal,
Mhm.
like just all ins and thinks like maybe she can kill me, but then
Yeah.
get a little bit extra.
Yeah, yeah. That's I mean it's fine. Like it gives move speed, it gives like the instant heal. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I just think in a lot of cases you could probably the way you want to use with corrupting potion is like the moment you start trading you just pop it. So you get the burn going when you trade, even with your autos. I think the rest is fine. Sometimes if I think it's fine if you're really confident that you're gonna get kills in lane. Going for uh eyeball collection is okay. But if you think like the lane's gonna be really passive, like you said, like sometimes they play really smart, they don't do anything, blah blah blah. I think going for, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the um, Paro zombie Paros or what it was called. Um, yeah, Ghost Paros. This is not bad because what you can do is that you can go into lane, you drop a ward, and then you just wait for it to expire, and you basically get the free
Oh,
the free
like
adaptive bonuses.
the thing where you just like put it just a little bit outside of tower range.
Yeah, like you can just put it in the middle of the lane. That's fine. This is
Mm,
assuming like obviously you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know like if you're going to a matchup where the enemy is gonna be dumb as hell, or like if they're gonna be passive as hell. Um, so it's like okay, well, if you're unsure of the matchup, you don't know if you're not confident, you know, I think going for Ghost Pearls is not that bad. Um, because I think like sometimes it's really hard. It's not hard to set up kills with Annie, but sometimes if the enemy is like, you know, they're not trying anything, so it gives you like less opportunities to get a kill. I think going for Ghost Pearls is not the best. It's not the worst option. That's what I'm gonna say.
right.
Yeah,
And if you're yeah,
yeah. If you're confident, then obviously go for it. Like if you're really confident, like oh okay, I know this matchup well. I know the patterns in setting up for a kill. Sure, go ahead, go take eyebrow collection. Um, but in like if you're against like let's see, like if you're against I don't know, maybe something like Vagar, who like they almost never want to fight, um, unless something is going on, unless like it's really clear that a gank is happening. I think going for Ghost Poros is not too bad of an option. I'm not sure if I think Summoner item haste works with trinkets. I'm not sure. Don't
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it works
Uh,
with items. Like if this is the item haste, then it definitely works with trinkets. So like having this two is a pretty good, decent synergy. Just synergy between the two runes. That's what I'm gonna say. Does everything make sense so far?
Yeah, I
Okay, cool.
understand it.
Okay, cool. And then this game you went for Comet. Yeah, this is fine. I think like so a lot of people are still going Transcendence. And I don't think that's bad. But I think with Annie, because your basic ability cooldowns aren't that high. Like I don't think anything goes above like 12, right? In terms of abilities. Uh, yeah, like everything scales down like to at least 10. Um, I think like Transcendence as because like here's the thing, right? A lot of things in game gives a lot of you can basically get a lot of ability haste in the game. Um, and the like at level 11 on champion takedowns, you reduce your remaining cooldowns by like 20. Let's say like at I don't know when you're level 9, your Q is maxed out, so
Hmm.
it's oh okay, it's always 4 seconds flat. 20% of 4 seconds is like what like 0.8.
Less than a second.
Yeah, less than a second. It doesn't give you as much value. I think a lot of cases you can probably go celerity as well. I think you can even go absolute focus if you're going scorch, to set up for early kills. Um, Again, absolute focus is more like you're confident. I think celerity is much more consistent, especially if you pop E, it works really well, and especially if you go Hextech Rocket Belt with boots. This will give you it's you might think like, oh, hey, it's just like you naturally get 1% movement speed bonus, and then like all movement speed bonuses are increased by 7%. It doesn't look much, but in the long run, you can start to realize like, okay, hey, it's not too bad. Uh, Especially if you're running Virulence Thunder. Basically, you zoom really really fast. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, you can definitely give it a try. I think like in this matchup, you could probably go for Aerie as well, because you can auto a lot. I think you can abuse autos a lot. I think Comic is fine, but I'm just worried. Like the thing is, that, okay, so what's the problem with Comic, right? You might not have enough mana to spam in lane, because you're not going mana flow, which is fine. I think Annie's like you don't have to go mana flow, by the way, because your Q like fully refunds your mana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's fine. I just wonder sometimes like if you're like whenever your comic is up, you obviously want to look to spam an ability on the enemy. So sometimes it might get really hard for you to like spam. So there are cases where you might run out of mana, especially if you're going for like QWE like full combo. Um, especially if your jungler doesn't give you blue.
Right.
Yeah. And then like you might run into cases where like, oh hey, dragon's coming up. I've spent like a lot of mana in lane trying to poke this guy down. Um, and then like dragon fights happens, you pop out, you pop maybe like one E, one W, one Q, and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm out. Um, this could happen. Again, it's not always, but we try to minimize these kind of scenarios. I think like the ladder is fine. Domination into this matchup is not the best. I think domination tree is kind of ass. It's good for healing. If you're going for Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. If you're going for this setup, you're probably trying to roam a lot. I think against Akali, you probably don't want to roam too much. You just want to stay in lane, unless you're going with your Sejuani, then you can do for. But like that's a whole other story. Anyways, does everything make sense so far?
Um. Hmm. So I mean, if I wasn't going like domination secondary, like what should I go like precision for like the or
I
precision or
think
inspiration?
inspiration is fine. Um, I think inspiration will always be fine on Annie because again the cosmic insight item is really good for your rocket belt and your flash. Um, Even if yeah, like if you're running TP, it's also really good. Shortens a lot of cooldown. I think this is I really don't think you need this, but there's times where you could go for resolve with bone plating and what's that other, I think rejuvenation.
Second win.
No, no, no. Bone blading and second wind is on the same row. It's the one that gives you increased health. Um,
Overgrowth.
yeah, overgrowth. I think that's also fine. I think if you want to go for like shield bash, that's also not bad because your E gives you a shield. It's not terrible, and it's always good against like bursts, like laners that want to trade short bursts onto
Yeah.
you. I think that's not too bad. Overall, I think like when it comes to runes, it's always like preference. Like it always like there's no like one fit for all. Um, some people might prefer like domination with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. Some people might prefer inspiration for the increased cooldown. And you can't really say like, oh, this is like much better than this, blah blah. It depends on situation and it depends on preference. I think like going this matchup, you're probably looking to like again roam more, because you're setting up like again you have Scorch, you have Comet, you have um, Cheap Shot. So you're looking to punish a lot, but you also have Relentless Hunter, and I forgot that you didn't have Celerity. So it's kind of everywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think I ended up. Actually, yeah, should swap my runes around more because there's a lot of matches where I don't think I roam that much,
hmm
and I still take it.
Because I think like if you're trying to play lane more and if you want to like improve your lane more, I think you probably shouldn't take a Villainous Hunter. I think like going for um Ravenous is not too bad as well. Even going for Ingenious at some cases is also not too bad. Um, Especially if you're trying to work for lane. If you're not like if you don't care about lane, like if you just want to push lane, get the fuck out of there, um, go somewhere, pop some hits, whatever. Okay, fine. Relentless with celerity, you're good to go, and then get boots. But in most cases, I think like either this or this, and then this or this, or even like sometimes this. But I think Annie's like out cooldown. It's like it gets low at level 16, so I don't think you really need that. Um, these are not bad. Everything good for you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is the matchup, right? I have to go
It's
to
44 minutes
40,
or 44. Wait, what? I remember what I said.
44, 45? Is it?
Yeah.
It's like here, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Have you played this matchup?
Mm, no, not specifically. Probably just verse, just as another champ.
Okay. Okay. So let's begin with the basics. When it comes to, okay, you can still see my pen, right? It's a bit light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can still see my pen. Okay, cool. So when it comes to Lee, and when it comes to mid lane specifically, whenever you're in loading screen and before laning, like before the minions spawn, there's always a few things you can think about. So for easy, for convenience, like I'll just list three of them. Um, the first thing you have to think about is the 1v1 and the 2v2, because mid lane is never a 1v1 lane, right? Number
Uh,
two, hold up. Number three is CC. Shit.
like
Wow.
enemy CC
Yeah, enemy CC.
or like all CC in the game.
Exactly. And basically the enemy CC. Number two is comfort. Holy cow. It actually slipped my mind. So let's go with number one. Number one, you're probably like, okay, what is 1v1? What is 2v2? It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, can you, straight up 1v1 the other mid laner? Not necessarily, but it means like, can you control the wave? What I mean by this is like, okay, do you have the range? Do you have the damage? And do you like when and when it comes to damage, like do you have AoE or do you have like single burst um burst single abilities? And then you also need to consider if you have CC. Um, it's even more prevalent when it comes to 2v2 because now you have to consider, okay, what if Akali and Lee Sin show up against Sejuani and Annie? for Scuttle fights because I know like Scuttles is like could potentially lose or win the game depending on the the jungler's ego. Um, I'm sure it has happened to you. Like I'm sure of this.
Mm.
Um, so these are the things you have to think about. If it, so, let's assume that lane comes, right. Lane comes. Um, are you able to push up the lane without Akali like winning trades? Um, if you think about it, what do you like? What do you think?
I think no, because I should be able to just outrange her Q with my auto attacks.
Yeah. So in this scenario, you should always be able to like you should always have the say of what happens in the like at least the first three waves. If you want her to push in, then you need to know how to bounce the wave at like either 3 or 4. If you want to push in, you have to be pushing. You have to be like shoving by 3 or 4. Why 3 or 4 is because those are the waves that usually scuttle fights take place. Um, one simple trick is that like again like one simple trick is really to look at, oh, do you have the range? In this case, yes, you're Annie. You're against melee, so you should always have to say, do you have like good damage? Not bad, not the worst, but Akali has like AoE and you probably take Q first, but your Q is like it reduces cooldown and refunds mana, so you have decent when it comes to wave farming or wave manipulation. And then when it comes to CC, you definitely win on this because Akali has no CC at all. She just has a lot of damage, even early on. So for sure, 1v1 wise, you can control the wave. Because early on, it's not about whose champion is stronger. It's about who has the bigger wave, right? If they have a big wave, even if you're like slightly stronger, let's say like you have another book, there's no way you're fighting that, right? If they have 3 waves pushing in, if you have maybe even if you have 2 amp tomes, there's no way you're fighting in a like 2.5 waves stacked up against you, right?
Right.
So these are the things that you have to consider. So when it comes to 2v2, again, consider these things, right? Range. Oh, okay. Lee Sin and Akali, they're both melee, but Lee Sin has like both of them have okay range. They can kind of connect with like Akali E and Lee Sin Q. When it comes to you and your Sejuani, you have really good CC, but you can, which is how do I put this? CC is really important in the game. I always use the example of like even an iron player could look at someone who's like 10-0 who is not moving and kill him. Unless there's a Rammus. Then that's a whole different story. But let's say if you're 10-0, all right, you're not moving, because of like you're getting stunned, rooted, blah blah blah, like charm, whatever. Even an iron player could click on you and kill you. That's why CC it's pretty important in the game. So because both you and Sejuani have CC, assume that you're able to land a stun on either Akali or Lee Sin, you could probably win the trade. The only downside with Sejuani is that because you're not melee, it's harder for her to proc her E. Unless unless she has Hell Blades, and that's a different story. But in any case, if you get the jump on them first, if you get a stun, Sejuani lines up with another stun, then you could probably get a kill. But if not, then they can probably get a kill. Why is this important? Because like if you know all these, you have a better chance of winning scuttle fights. Because again, I don't know what made junglers think like, oh, scuttles are really important, but it's not the end of the game. It's borderline, but it's not like, oh, the enemy has double scuttle. Yeah, the game becomes hard, but it's not the end of the world. But I know like a lot of junglers like, oh, if you don't come for jungle, then it's mid gap. Especially if this is Annie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like happens. Like the shit happens way too much. Way too much. Even in Masters Elo. Don't know why. Maybe it's Blabber. Maybe it's not Blabber. I don't know. Guy ins for 2 scuttles, flashes, and smiles away, happy like he's won the game. You watch LCS?
Mental boom.
Yeah,
No.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, but like mental boom. People mental boom when scuttle. Like junglers mental boom a lot when they don't get scuttle, and because mid lane is like. But sometimes it's not your fault, right? Sometimes you can be like, well, my lane is pushed up, right, and the jungler's like, oh wait, why didn't you come? Right, well, because because my lane is pushed up. So you can't sacrifice your lane
Mm-hmm.
for your jungler's sake. If your lane is fucked, you have to fix the lane first. Because if your lane is fucked, all right, this is really important. If your lane is fucked and you help your jungler, if it goes well, okay, fine. If it goes well, all right, fine. Nothing happens. It goes well. You got like 2 kills, maybe everything is good. But if it goes bad, holy fuck, you're like this game is lost, right? Not only is your lane fucked, it's getting like denied by tower because it's pushed in, right? You're dead. They get a really hit, and then like you can't play the game. I always say like, oh, if you do that, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Does
Like,
everything make sense so far?
yeah.
Okay,
Do you
cool.
think like though? I mean, sometimes if I have like a pretty bad feeling, like yeah, it's just gonna turn out bad anyways. I should just like stay at the lane or just like try to
Yes.
look like I
No.
wanted to help.
If you have at least a 60%, maybe even like fifth. If you're okay, if you get the hint that like, oh, this looks kind of bad, right? Um, then you should probably not go. Again, these kind of feelings, like intuitions, comes from experience. Um, it's not always the case because like you always want to play by 80-20. Like if it works 80% of the time, you should probably go. If it doesn't go well, that's probably 20%. But if it looks like 50-50, it looks kind of sus, it looks kind of wonky, it's not sure, you don't have to do it. You really don't. If your jungler ends and he or she starts paying you for no good reason, just mute the guy. He doesn't know you're laning, right? He's a jungler, right? Now if he is like 10-0, all right, and he knows what he's doing, and your team is winning because of him, maybe you can follow him a bit. Maybe you can. But and trust me on this when I say this, if he's 5-7, 5-8, goes for like a really sussy looking play, maybe you can just do what you want. Because at the end of the day, all right, when it comes to solo queue, you don't know the guy, you can't control his keyboard, you don't know what he's thinking, he doesn't know you, he can't control your keyboard. It's a team game, but at the end of the game, you matter the most. Because if you don't get fed, you can't carry the game. And when I mean get fed, I don't mean like go 20-0 whatever. I mean like have decent CS, not have too many deaths, good items by like 20 minutes. You're in a good spot.
Like be in the game.
Yeah, be in the game. Exactly. Like play by your champions' power spikes. You should not feel pressured not even if you're jungler, if you're AD, top, or support, or even, any like jungler says like, hey, you need to do this. Again, it depends on the situation. I'm not saying you should never do it. I'm saying like in the case where like, hey, this guy doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, maybe I shouldn't do it. Because too many times in low elo, people are like, oh, I want to win. I don't want to like upset my teammates. I just want to, I just want to get the win. They just group up mid NA ram like for 20 minutes and oh fuck, we lost a team fight. We just lost the game. Again, if it works, hey, everyone's happy, right? But if it doesn't, oh fuck, man, you don't know how to come back.
It's like, oh fuck, we have 80 CS at.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You're like, oh wait, we've been NA ramming for like past 10 minutes. No one's CSing, right? One team, like one guy from one team messes up. Oh, and like if you're on the bad end of the team, then you're fucked, right? If you're on the good end, no one cares because hey, we won, right? But if you're in the bad end, it like you feel it really hard. You know that it's bad because you'd be looking at levels like, okay, I'm level 13, he's level 15. I have 2 items, he has like 3.5 items. How like fuck, right? That's why like again, it's case by case. But once you get enough experience, once you know the game, once you know your champion, you should know that okay, this looks terrible, or this looks sus, or this looks really good. I should join the fight. It comes with confidence. Make sense?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So I know there's a lot to take in. So like if it's too much or like if you don't understand, feel free to ask. Because Yeah.
You were saying that like if I want to just like be there at like wave, was it like 3 and 4 for the scuttle? I
Yeah.
should just shove,
Yeah.
like try to push really hard with autos.
Yeah. So I'll explain that later when we review the game, so that we have a visual representation, like so you can understand better. Okay. Um.
Okay.
All right. Cool. So when it comes to second comfort. So what is comfort? Like look at your team and look at the enemy team. In this case, it's let's see, it is you have Nocturne, Sejuani, Ezreal, Annie, and Rakan. They have Quinn, Lee Sin, Akali, Misfortune, and Trish. Um, I think your team scales a bit better, mainly because you have Israel, and you have Annie. I think Annie scales quite alright. I don't think Nocturne scales. I think like Sejuani as a tank will always scale. And I think Rakan is Rakan. I think their team, like I think the only guy from their team who scales is probably like Akali. I think Lee Sin scales okay, but I think like Sejuani, like if she's able to like scale, like if she's able to grow well, I think like she has quite an okay chance. Like if you think about it, right? What can Lee Sin provide late game? Oh, okay, high damage, really high mechanics, high damage. What can Sejuani
Mm.
provide as a tank? Um, a lot of stuns, a lot of CC, a lot of slows. Um, and remember what I said about CC at late game or mid to late game. If you have someone who will stun and like you have 5 guys pounding on that one guy who can't move for like 2 to 3 seconds, he or she always dies. So even if Sejuani is like slightly behind, Sejuani will always be slightly more useful than like Lee Sin, unless the Lee Sin's like fucking got like 20 and 0 blah blah blah. That's whatever. Then that's the player. But champion wise, I think Sejuani is much better in the mid to late game. Um, I think Ezreal definitely scales better than Misfortune because of mana immune and items. Ezreal is always that late game, mid to late game monster. So what I mean by comfort is like if you look at the team and you know that, oh hey, wait, I think my team scales slightly better than their team, which means I don't have to force things to happen in the game. I'm not incentivized to like force things to happen. Now, obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, you should just not do Drakes, you should not do Harrows, whatever. If you get opportunity, you should probably do it. But if not, you're okay with it because eventually at like 20, 25 minutes when you have items, when you have 2 to 3 items, 2 to 3 items, when you have 2 to 3 items, when Ezra has 2 to 3 items, when Johnny has 2 to 3 items, you know that you're in a pretty good spot. Now, obviously, when it comes to low elo, no one knows about this. Everyone just wants to fight. Everyone just wants to kill. But if you know about this, you know that okay, well, we're 4-2 right now. The enemy has 4 kills. We have 2 kills. Game is not lost. The best way I can describe this is like if you're Veigar and you're against like Pantheon. It doesn't matter if you're 0-1 and he's 2-0. You know eventually, as long as you don't die too much and you're able to CS, you know eventually you hit that mid to late game and you will be able to actually be a champion. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why
In
I'm telling you
terms
this,
of
yeah, go on.
makes sense. So like, uh, I mean, if you're Veigar, you're not that pressured to like feel like I need to like zone Pantheon out or like get a bunch of kills because you're just scaling.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying to let like Pantheon do anything he wants, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not saying like, oh, you should just like, if he wants to roam, then you should just roam. Don't do anything like no. I'm telling you that you're not pressured to make a proactive play if there's no opportunities because you know that all you need to do is just you need to farm, get some items, be useful in mid to late game, and you're good. Now, if we look at it from the other side of the coin, if you're the Pantheon, you're pressured to do so because you don't scale that well. You compared to late game, obviously if compared to late game Veigar, you know that okay, well, I can't really do much at the late game. At early game, I can because I'm made for this. Like my champion is designed to be early game, mid game focus. The same can be said with Lee Sin, right? Lee Sin has to do something early. Otherwise, why are you picking Lee Sin? Same with Olaf. Same with I think Rek'Sai. But Rek'Sai, at least Rek'Sai has knockup. and I think like he has true damage. So like,
Mhm.
point is, this game, like if you don't need to force something, like things happen, that's fine. That's okay. It's you just scale. I'm not sure if you heard of this, like saying like it's harder to play from a hit than it is to play from behind. Do you know this term?
I would think that means like the enemy's going to play more careful. They're not going to play into you as much unless they're really dumb.
It's more like if you're a hit, you'd have to know how to close the game. If you're behind, what do you need to do?
You need to win the game. You have
Well, yeah,
to
you need to
try
win.
to
Like
get even.
everyone has to get to win the game, right? You have to get even. But like if you're behind, there's not a lot of chances for you to get even. So the only thing you're worried about is like, okay, I just need to not die and focus in CSing. That's it, right? But if you're ahead, the mindset of the head player is like, okay, how do I get more ahead? Um, because funnily enough, all right, now here, think of it this way: early game, right? If you get like 600 gold, that's huge, right? That's really huge. If you get 600 gold in terms of advantage, that's huge. That's basically like an amp tome, like, and if you get like another like 250, that's a blasting one. That's really huge when it comes to early game because like like little stats like these can win you like early fights. But if you think about it at the late game, all right, if you're like let's say 1k goal ahead, like again, that's like what blasting one. That really doesn't mean too much. Am I right? You probably like that's like 40 ability power, like 25 minutes. It's like it doesn't mean too
Mm,
much because like at that point in the game, everyone is probably looking for skirmishes. Everyone's probably looking for like team fights. What I'm trying to say is, if you're a hit, you're kind of forced to say, okay, how do I get even more hit? But when you're behind, you don't expect anything. You just say, okay, I'm behind. I should just try to farm up. And farming is much easier than trying to look for kills. Do you agree with that?
mm, mm, I mean, it depends on like, yeah, I think it's easy to farm if you're, I think you can, but it can be harder to like depending on the match.
Yeah, of course. Like if you fuck up your wave, then it's harder. But you're not forced to look for opportunities on a map.
Like, like early game or like later, like in lane or like later in the game.
Like basically the entire game. Like obviously, like if you're in
Yeah,
lane, then sometimes the enemy is zoning you, then you just have to give up the lane. But it depends on how hard you can bleed. Like sometimes if they're really zoning you really hard, then you have to figure out ways on how to deal with that. But like later in the game, you can sort of figure out like you can sort of just like prevent deaths from not going to really obvious kind of like traps. Like if you don't have wards in the jungle, no one's on the map. Do you really think you should be going into the jungle? Probably not. Um, yeah. Does this make sense for you?
yeah,
Basically, the whole point is like if you know your team is going to scale, don't feel pressured to do things. Right? Just let things happen. Know how to farm. Like farm at least like for your standards, like maybe farm at least like 6 to 7 CS per minute. You know, don't let the enemy do whatever they want. You know, if they're really trying hard to do something, if they're forcing things, okay, fine. If they're 5-manning mid turret at like 9 minutes, nothing you can do. Whatever, let them have it. It's bad for it's bad macro, right? But if the enemy is not doing anything and you scale, that's great for you. That's great for you. That's the whole point. And then lastly, CC. This is pretty straightforward. All right. CC is important because and most importantly, you need to know when you're going to team fights, you need to know what you can't get hit by. So you're Annie, right? And you look at the team. Mid to late, like skirmishes and team fights. What do you think you should not get hit by, or like what do you think you should try to avoid?
Thresh Hook and Lee Sin Q,
Right,
and like Quinn just like bursting me down.
right. So these are the things you have to avoid. These are the things you have to space out. Too many times people are like, "Oh wait, my whole team is in. I need to go in too." Not really. If you're the carry, your main priority is to stay alive and deal as much damage as you can before the enemy kills you. And a lot of times, well, people are like argue with like, okay, well, the enemy is gonna kill me anyway, so why not I just go in? The best way to say it, the best answer I can give is like, if the enemy is gonna kill you anyways, make them work for it. You go into team fight, you don't just walk into a team fight. You have to be like, okay, I'm gonna walk, and if I see Lee Sin hasn't used his kick or his Q yet, I'm gonna be slightly more cautious. If I see Thresh has not hooked yet, I can't just straight go into a team fight. Now, obviously, if you have flash, then that's different. But let's say you're not playing the use flash, your team is already in. Lee Sin still has kick, Thresh still has hook, Quinn's nowhere to be seen. Then you don't have to fully commit. Because again, if you commit, you know, that's your strongest point. But it also leaves you vulnerable. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the same can be said for Akali. Akali cannot just R into your team. Look at your team.
Just, like,
yeah, she would just pop. Right? If she R's in, Rakan charms, knockups, so you only stuns, you pop your ult. There's no way Akali lives. Right? Unless like of course, like if she smokes, then okay, fine. Maybe she'll live like for a bit. But in a lot of cases, if she's not too ahead, she can't just run into your team. Right? Make sense so far?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I know there's a lot to take in. If you have any questions, just let me know. Let's look at the game. Is this your first time getting coached?
Like second or third time.
Okay.
First time was like years ago.
Okay. Okay. So again, whenever you're laning, you're always having a conversation. You're always talking to the enemy. What I mean by this is, I think like this. I think, do you know LS? So like I think he coined this. Well, he didn't really coin this term, but like I think he was the one who used this term frequently. It's like whenever the enemy wants to CS, you're saying, oh, hey, you want this? Okay, you're gonna take an auto. Oh, hey, you want this? Yes. Okay, you're gonna take a Q. The same can be said for you. Like, oh, I want to CS this. Akali walks up. Okay, if you want to CS this, I'm going to Q onto you. This is very fundamental. So yeah, this is fine. Q. You can definitely look for another auto there when she's trying to auto that. Akali's level 1 is really weak because her energy is 130. She can basically use it once and then she has to wait for a bit. Oh wow, this is smart from the enemy. Auto once more. Yep, that's good. Okay, so do you know where the jungler started?
No, but I would assume bot side.
Why?
Most junglers start bot side for the leash.
Okay, but what if this is not the most junglers?
If he started blue, wait, who was it again? It was a
Listen,
at least, yeah.
in
I
in
mean, he
go on.
like maybe he could level 2 gank, or he just goes to Gromp and then mid. But
In
like,
this
I'm not.
case, he probably started blue mainly because Quinn popped out from bush. And their misfortune and Thresh also came late. The reason why like it's harder in this case because Quinn didn't immediately pop up on top. If Quinn immediately popped up, then you probably know. Why this is important is because like if you know where he's pathing, you could probably guess like where he's gonna pop up in at timers. So if he's gonna do level 2 gank, this is where he should probably pop up by now. Right into straight into mid. But because your lane is okay, there's no, you're in a really safe slot, there's no reason for him. Unless he goes from this. Then that's weird. Then he's trolling. Why he's trolling? Because now he's showing where he's going. And your whole team's like, oh, he's going top. Okay, now bot can play aggressive and top should be playing passive. Should be playing passive. But we all know like top, sometimes they just die for no reason. So if you know he's not level 2 ganking, you can probably assume that, okay, at like around 3 minutes or so, if he's not coming out from here, then he's probably not ganking me. And the best way to prevent this is, again, by 3 minutes, like that's probably the third wave that's coming. Before that, you can put a ward on top side. another good indicator for you to like defend yourself is like, okay, my Sejuani is starting bot side, which means she wants to path top side. So eventually, when she does hit top side, I can sit around here and put a ward. This way, I know that I can never get ganked for free. Assuming Sejuani is, has the map open and, if you're in trouble and she would come to you. So everything makes
Right,
sense so
like she
far?
doesn't just
Yeah, she doesn't just like, oh, hey,
leave me to the
red.
wolves.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't just like blind, like tunnel too hard on her camps. So at this point in the game, yeah, like that right there, you missed like an auto and Q. There's just no immediate threat here. The reason why you can actually harass her, even though like if you harass her, means to hit onto you, is because like if you trade health, she can't do this for long. Akali's level 1. She can't really punish you if you play it right. What I mean by play it right is like you stand just slightly out of her Q range, and you don't stand in open space for her E to hit. If you let these things happen, then obviously you're gonna get a whole world of pain. Um, at this stage, like what you want to do right here is because so look at these minions, right? What do you think you
Right,
should do?
my minion. I think I should stand closer to okay, I'm just gonna like look at it for a moment.
Yeah.
Just like, well, she's gonna like walk up, probably auto attack, maybe go for the Q if I gets a little bit close, but she wants level 2 off the minion.
Mm-hmm.
So like I want to stand like a little bit far away, but still behind a minion, so she doesn't insta poppy. I want to walk up, auto Q her, like maybe behind this melee minion. That's like the melee minion close to the casters.
Uh that okay. Wow, that was a whole lot complicated than yeah, but basically right here, what I wanted you to look at is like, okay, you look at these low health, right? These are low, and they're about the same. Like they're about the same percentage of HP. What you naturally want to do is because like, so remember how I said like if she's CSing, you should harass her, but if you're CSing, she should also harass you. But in this case, both of you want to CS these, right? So in your case, if you have to range, right, you should hit these minions first. That way, when it's already gone, you're not forced to CS when she's CSing. You have time to
Mm.
harass her, is what I'm trying to say. Also, this is good for you. This is good for you. Yep. Ignite. WQ. Auto. Flash Q. There we go. Nice. Good. And now you go back to lane. Good. This is fine because like your lane is still in the middle, and like even though like you lose like a couple of CS, it's not too bad. It's not too bad because you get a kill. You don't even lose cannon. You lose like the go, but like you get EXP. EXP is much more important than go early on. It's like
Wow,
go is important, but it's not something that you should be like, oh hey, I missed a go. Like yeah, okay, no, you should, but if you miss EXP, that's even worse. That's what I'm trying to say.
that's like the greater sin.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So here, like whenever she's looking, whenever you're in auto range, you should definitely auto her. So I want you to look at the map right now and think what is gonna happen in the next minute. I mean, you should know, but like because you played the game, but like walk me through it on your thought process.
Mm. I mean, I definitely wasn't thinking about it. I mean, like in terms of like scuttle,
Hmm.
but I'm thinking Lee Sin is just respawning,
Hmm.
so I feel like he's more likely to come at me from top side here than bot side.
Okay, why is that?
So I should like, because he came at our side of the map from bot side.
Hmm. Which means he
So I think
started red, right?
he'll.
So I mean, like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he started red because like he came from he did like this and then he did this. So obviously he's gonna do this, right? That's a good observation. But why do you think and let me ask this, like why do you think if he comes from top side, um actually hold on, let me phrase the question better. If he does pop from top side, let's say he doesn't go for you, but if he goes for scuttle, what do you think you should do?
push the wave in to be there for scuttle, or just like ward topside.
Okay. What do you think is likely to happen if you push in the wave and you go topside?
Uh, if I push in the wave and go topside, I think. I mean, I have double buffs, but I think like if I don't get peeled, then like I probably get popped by Akali and Lee Sin.
Mhm,
If we like fight 2v2.
mhm. That's pretty good because that's definitely really good because like now you have a good understanding. Okay, like I have what like I know my advantages. The things you have to take into account is also like okay, now I don't have flash. I know Lee Sin doesn't have
Oh
flash.
yeah.
I know Sejuani also doesn't have flash. I know Akali has flash. So you have to look out for Akali flash E or flash Q, and then she hops onto you. The another thing you have to take into account is look at top lane right now. Who is more likely to come, Quinn or
Uh,
Nocturne?
Quinn.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go topside, I don't think it's a bad play, but you have to take into account like, oh, okay, if my lane is not completely pushed in, I can't go all the way. I have to be okay. That's fine. Kali almost like died. It's fine. Now you just auto, like just hard shove. Because now like okay, sometimes you're like, okay, should I just slow push this? Should I just fast push this? The quickest indicator sometimes is always like, okay, well, if Akali's not really looking to like walk forward to let me kill her, and if I don't see a chance to kill her, I can probably just shove this because there's no way that I can kill her if she doesn't walk up. So most of the time, you should probably just hey, okay, I'm just gonna shove this, take a base, and call it a day. Um, you could look for a base, like right there. You know why?
Mm. But uh I mean, is it gonna bounce back into me, or is there?
Yes, it's gonna bounce back into you, and also because it's cannon, it's harder for Akali to push. By the time you come back, you like at max, right? You probably lose 2 minions, maybe 3 if Akali's really smart with the wave. If she's really really smart with the wave, what she would do is, and this is like near impossible, she would have to walk up all the way, tank the minions for like a good while. But this is like very unlikely, like very 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 unlikely. Um, but yeah, the reason why it's a good base because one, you have like a good amount of gold that you can get Amp Tome, maybe like Dark Seal and boots, and I think you can probably get a ward as well. And by the time you come back, the wave would be pushing in. Why is the wave pushing in? Because of the even minion rule, right? What is the even minion rule? If your wave has the same amount of minions as their wave, but it's closer to their side, it will always shove towards you. Why this is the case? Because this wave is already stacked up, whereas your wave is still coming in one by one, which means the first poor minion that comes into contact will get bursted by all these minions. That's why it'll come into you. Make
Like
sense?
the minions are the like casters are autoing first.
Yeah, like look at these. These are all stacked up. These will hit the first guy that comes into contact, which is this little guy. Which means this guy would almost immediately die. So when this guy dies, your minions is like -1, whereas this minions are still like 7, right? So
Right.
these will automatically push in, and because like it's closer to their to your enemy side of the lane, it means that the enemy like next wave of minions will also be stacking up first, right? Because minions are supposed to hit in the middle of the lane at the same time, but because it's closer to their side, their minions will stack up first. Every
Okay. Yeah.
Make sense? Yeah, and also because it's cannon. Early game on, you can base on cannon timer because it's really hard, especially against Akali. It's really like unless she has dematerializer, which I don't think she has. It's really hard for her to push up a cannon minion fast before you come back to lane. Um, this is like cases like this is obviously different when she has TP, but like if she doesn't have TP, then you can probably look. Stay on your ground. Like when this happens, stand on your ground. Why? So, well, League is kind of like you have to sort of predict and have some sort of expectation of what is likely gonna happen. This way you can kind of foresee the future. So when she lands that E right there, um, she can either not come into you and she comes to you. If she comes into you, there's a few things you have to think about. Where should I be standing? It's very minimal, but like if you walk away from your minions, that means your minions aren't gonna help you when she walks into you because she has no Stroud. She just uses it right here. So if she comes onto you, like obviously she's gonna auto attack you because she's onto you unless like she does some weird clicks. But if in most cases, if she is on top of you when you're standing near your minions, she's gonna die. Plus you have red buff. So when she lands that E, nowhere to stand. In fact, like you can even provoke her.
Baits her in.
Yeah, bait her. Then you're like, oh hey, I got landed by E. You can come in, take some damage. Trade. Blah blah blah. Walk up one more. You missed one auto. Don't force this. Like if you already missed it, don't force it. Right here you see Lee Sin top side. Yep. Just walk bot side. That's really good. So the wave is pushing back into you. You know where Lee Sin is. Your bot lane is doing really, really well, right? Your top is like kind of okay. Your jungle is like farming. What do you think you should be doing here?
What I should be doing here?
Yeah.
Uh, well, I mean, like with those conditions, I don't know, but like
Let's
I don't want
minimize
to
it.
let her crash the
Yeah.
wave.
Let's minimize it. Let's say don't care about anything outside of this box, right? Don't care about like your top. Don't care about jungle. Don't care about your bot lane. But yeah, actually, yeah, don't care about your jungle at all, right? This wave is gonna crash into you, right? Because there's a big wave. But look at Akali's health. She's half. You're healthier. Akali doesn't have mana, so you don't have to care about like her resource. Um, but because she's low, it means she can't really like say upfront, "Hey, I want to trade against you." Plus, when you have stun, she definitely doesn't want to trade against you. So in this particular case, now, well, I should finish. In this particular case, you can just try to hold the wave for a bit and see what she does.
Like
Doing this, yeah, go on.
see if she goes into me or
Like, see if she's trying to force a push or she wants the base. If she is forcing a push, there's two things you can do. Either you trade with her, like give like, punish her for trying to force, or you bluff. Why this is important is because like if your jungler is not on the map and if you have like pretty good idea that your jungler is not being seen on the map, like aka like if your jungler is on a ward, you can pretend that your jungler is around when the wave is right here. So I want you to think about like what Akali, like the mind of Akali right now. All right, if this wave is in and you pull the wave up a bit, right? Like it's shoving in, and the wave you try to pull it up towards here, so it freezes. You know what's freezing, right?
I'd be really annoyed if I was Akali.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh fuck, like, well, I can't base. If I base, like, I'm gonna get denied a wave because my big minion wave would just destroy this minion wave, right? But I can't force a push because I don't know where Sejuani is. Now Sejuani doesn't have to be near you. She just have to be unseen by you, by Akali, right? Because now you have the option again. Like why this bluff works is because she's not on the map. She doesn't like Akali doesn't know where the fuck she is. Now unless like Akali's like tier like rank 1, just has got like jungle senses, whatever. Then okay, maybe you can't play this bluff well. But this is like gold elo, right? She doesn't know where the fuck she like Sejuani is. And even if again, like even if you can't pull the bluff off, if she tries to force it, punish her. Punish her well. But don't commit because now you don't know where Lee Sin is as well. So at most, if you're trying to like if she wants to walk up to like force a push, just QW auto. Okay, walk back. And continue to try to hold the wave as much as you can. Make sense?
Yeah.
This is all doable because you have certain information. You want okay. I know like don't care about jungle, but like because you know where Lee Sin is coming from, you can definitely know okay. I can as long as I have this word and I'm like conscious about my top side around here, I know that like unless I walk into him, I shouldn't be able to die to the gank. You also know that Akali is low on health and she doesn't have Doran's shield. Let me see if she has. If she has. Okay, she has fleet, so she can somewhat heal, but it's not like godlike heal. It's like it doesn't. It's not as bad as Doran shield with second wind and fleet work like that. In that case, then this becomes harder. But like in this particular case, it's like okay, it's doable. Like here, yeah, you can do this. W and E. Yeah, hold the wave. Hold the wave. Yeah, this is okay. Ideally, I want you to pull it up, but this is fine. So if she bases, that's fine for you. Ideally, the reason why like I want you to pull it up slightly or like even like maybe like drag it towards here is because like if you do that, you can also look for a base. If you look for a base, this minion wave will stay here for a bit. You can trim it out a bit if you're worried that like it's gonna stay, but as long as it has +2, it would always stick. If it's +3, then it always sticks.
So +2, +3.
Yeah,
to set
+2 or
up a
+3.
freeze.
Yeah, it will result in freeze. +2 +3 meaning like if they have 2 or 3 extra minions, it will always try to freeze. But the only thing you have to consider is the closer it is to your turret, because it was like it will freeze, but it will still slowly but like gradually push toward your turret. So the closer it is towards your turret, oh, I shouldn't I shouldn't draw it last line, but like the closer it is to your turret, the faster it's gonna push in. Like the higher the chances are it's gonna get denied eaten by your turret. So ideally, like if you can try to drag it upwards or drag it to the side. That way you have more time to base and come back to lane. The problem with like staying here is that because you stayed here, yeah, she's gonna get denied a wave, but she's also gonna have better items. Because she's basing right now. Yeah, like she's gonna get denied wave,
like
right?
she'll have like
Maybe like
40 AP or something
yeah,
like
maybe
that
like
on
40
her.
extra AP, maybe like 100 extra health. I don't know what she's getting. Like maybe she's getting Ruby Crystal and Aptome. Like 20 extra AP, 100 extra health. Then you and you know obviously more health, more resources. So that's the thing you have to worry about. So I think like right here, you can probably look for a base. If so, if you ever get like this done to you, the best way you can do it is like try to fake a base. If you're a colleague right now, like what we can learn from a colleague, like, okay, let's say I'm the Akali. I know I'm in a pretty shitty situation because I don't know where Sejuani is. The way I can sort of get my get out of jail ticket here is basically I want to get into Fog of War to make you think I'm basing. And then I want to see what you do. If you're staying in lane, then I can probably stay in lane too. But if you're basing, I can probably go to your wave and push it in after you based.
So that
So
like
yeah, you can like fake
I
a
wouldn't
base.
right because it would make her not like miss a wave and like I would miss a wave.
Yeah, you would miss a wave. Well, you would miss like half a wave, and the wave would be bouncing back towards her. Um, it's funny because even with that, there's also ways you can play around it. But I don't want to get too complicated details. You understand all of these so far, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna move on and see what you do. Here, like notice like how like minions are just like committing suicide and like the wave is becoming thinner by thinner. Yeah, this is fine. I think getting boots here is fine. It allows you to space better. But I think going for alternator would never be bad as well. Look at the minion wave. Like the reason why it's like shoving back is because like it's only like +1 or like +1.5. So it's like shoving back. And also like minions like look fucking minions are suiciding. This is why the freeze didn't work properly. But obviously, you know, Kali is, you know, trying to shove it back. You also don't have to hit that, by the way. You can just let it gradually push in. You're not in a rush you're not incentivized to hit that cannon right there. Because if anything, you want the wave to actually stay in the middle. Do you know why it's that?
My team is pretty close by. Like, and
Again,
yeah,
like ignore
I
your
mean,
team.
I'm forcing her to play up.
Yeah, you're forcing her to play up, and you're also you're also making her give you opportunities to harass for you to harass her. Because if you fast push this, it means that it's gonna go into turret really fast. But if you slow push this, it means that her minion wave is also gonna like lower your minion's health, which means she would want to try to walk up and try to CS. When that happens, assuming that no, both the CS aren't close to dying, if you killed the CS first and this CS is about to die, it means you have time to harass her. It's very little, but it helps a lot in the long run. Now, like because your cannon is like still slightly healthy, it's gonna shove really fast. Even like at this point, you should probably just shove this in because look, she's just going backwards, and she's not like letting you have any opportunity. Like right here, you could probably ult her. Oh, I think you could ult earlier as well, but I think you wanted to get the stun, right?
Uh,
Q R W stun.
ult sooner onto both of them,
What's that?
or like
Yeah, yeah. So
ult
you stun
sooner
both of
onto
them.
them.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what you like. It looks like that's what you wanted to do. Not sure the thought process was. Like here, like look at this. Like when this wave is like, oh okay, it's definitely gonna shove. There's no reason not to shove it right now. Just shove it. Especially if the enemy is like not walking up at all. But like in the case where like, oh okay, cannon is about to die, you can probably like stay where you are. The moment she walks up, like look, in her mind, oh cannon's gonna die. Where's she gonna be? Boom. Oh
Closer to the wave. I shouldn't even be like walking back.
yeah. You can, like what you can do and
Ult
here.
to Kali sooner.
What's that?
You were saying ult to Kali
Yeah,
sooner.
like ult or like W because your W is instant. There's no cast. I think I'm pretty sure W has no cast time. The moment you see her silhouette like in her shroud, W R Q. Well you can't Q because she's in her shroud, but like W R and she gets burst. Like she gets a lot of damage in. Even if you don't kill her, you put her in a spot where she's gonna struggle. Basically, she's gonna struggle. Um, Sometimes like not killing her and just putting her in a really rough spot is already enough. Obviously, killing her is like optimal. That's the best thing you could do. But if you don't kill her, that's not the worst. You're making her suffer in lane. Basically, it's a really bad way to put it, but that's the best way I can think of. Yeah,
Torment her.
yeah, you're basically tormenting her. She's not having a great time. She's not having fun. Is what I'm trying to say. Because like right here, like what I would do and
Like,
look at my mouse, right? Look at my dots. What I would do is I would try to do this. This okay, this is too big. I would do this. I would try to like just dance inside the circle. And I'm telling her that, oh, if you want this cannon, I will go in onto you. And especially if you know you're hitting 6 soon, even more of the reason for you to like provoke her to try to, hey, you want this cannon? If you don't, okay, that's cool. But if you do want it, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna at
yeah.
least put you in lethal range. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think I
6.
even like noticed I was like close to leveling up. I was just thinking about like last hitting and holding stun.
This is I would say it's like attention theory because like this because well there's a theory about this. It's in league there's only so much you can focus on depending on what level of player you are.
Yeah,
The,
I think I heard about
yeah,
this. Like, it plays into like one tricks, like having
exactly.
this like what the Dopa post was like
Yes,
talking
exactly,
about.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. If you read about that, then you should know. But TLDR, it's basically so imagine if you're one trick, right? You don't have to think about champion. You don't have to think about lethal range. You don't have to think about like what's your range, blah blah blah. These are already like it's basically second nature to you at that point. So you don't have to think about all these. So a lot of that attention you don't have to put like maybe you put like 10% into like 10 of it. Like say you have 100, and if you're one trick of like let's say Annie, you're only putting 10. But like let's say if you're playing like something that you're not familiar with. Let's say you're playing something like Gwen mid or even better like ASO mid, right? The harder champion,
then it's gonna take more attention from you. So instead of just 10, you're putting in like 50, maybe 60 counts of like attention into just like knowing your champion, just playing your champion. So you only have 40 left. Now, if you have 90 left, then you can probably like allocate like maybe like 30 in terms of CSing and trading, maybe another 20 to like I don't know, warding, maybe another 20 to jungle tracking, and then like another 20 for like looking at other lanes. But if you only have 40 left, you can't really be paying attention to a lot of things, right? So that's why like one tricking is really efficient, and why knowing your champion is a really good way to climb. It's because you're not trying to learn, you're not putting a lot of attention into one thing. You're able to just like, oh hey, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can just focus on something else.
Yeah,
Does that
it
make
make
sense?
I understand it.
Okay, cool. So yeah. So what Johnny should do here is actually just shove the wave. Oh,
I thought Lee Sin was inting.
is he not? Oh, this season's clean. Insane. Oh, okay. If Lee Sin wanted to cuck you, he would just leave the lane right now. Because then it would actually hold a bit in front of, yeah.
With those few extra minions.
Yep. Now you can probably tell this Lee Sin knows how to play the jungle at least. He's making a lot of proactive plays. He's expecting a lot of like things to happen. Like here you're doing another mistake. You know what it is?
I think. Wait.
Like right here.
Was it like the minion I was autoing?
Yeah.
It's like
Look at where the minions are right now. Right? This wave will always push into you.
Pushing.
Yeah. It will always push into you. So you're not in any incentive. Like just lane alone, don't care about anywhere else. You're not incentivized to push in this lane. You don't have a reason to.
It was about to like push back into me.
Yeah, you want it to push back into you. He's not gonna come. Oh wow. Nocturne out? The fuck? Oh well, okay. Well, that's great. Okay, now you base. You should look at your minion. Like you should hover your camera, take a look at your next minions, and see if it's canon. If it's canon, you can probably look for a base. If it's not, then you can probably stay for until it's canon. The reason why you base at canon is because that's the wave that you lose the minimal, assuming that you base, buy, and instantly run back to lane, and not waste any time.
What would I get here? Like boots, Darksteel, ward?
Yeah, that's fine. It's better than not having increased stats. You could even get like blasting one, and that's fine too. But I think like you didn't have it, but like yeah, like even like amp tome is fine. If she's walking up like that, like if she's walking up like this, don't. Oh fuck. If she's walking up like that, don't be too intimidated, by her, because as long as you have like obviously like you have to balance between like having your Q cooldown and your W cooldown and your stuns, right? But if she's walking up like that, yeah, like try to space. I think you actually did that pretty well. Balancing between CSing and trying to harass her. Yeah, this is fine. It's fine. Just let the wave push in. Bot dies. None of your concern. Literally none of you. Nothing you could have done there. Drag the wave up, but don't tank the wave. Drag the wave, meaning that just let the wave follow you, but don't try not to let them hit you for too much. Even
drag
though,
it up more?
Yeah, like just drag it up more. Because you're standing still, then sometimes you're taking too much damage. I think this is fine. This is not the worst. I think this is fine.
I kind of fucked up. It's like I did not pay attention to Sedge.
Yep.
Like that was probably a kill.
Yep. It's not the worst because again the wave is still in a pretty good spot for you. It's just that you want to look for a base really soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So Akali's topside. Quinn's topside. Oh no. This looks terrible.
I should. Yeah.
Hindsight, right? It's like, oh, okay, now I know I should not have even walked. What do you get here? I should ask you that question. It's like, well, you know, like, okay, well, now it's obvious I don't get shit. And now my wave is like slowly pushing. I get topside here, but like someone's gonna suffer, and that someone is like, it's not me because now you're still getting CS, right? But Nocturne's gonna suffer because now Nocturne doesn't have a wave to come. And if Nocturne comes top, you're gonna suffer. RQ. She's still dead because Tibbers is fucking insane. Look at where your wave is. Right? Just look at the mini map and you're like, oh shit. I'm screwed. Now if Akali gets like a lot of farm.
Oh yeah. It was
Now
a little bit
if
of a big
Akali
wave.
is smart, she should have 100% froze that. 100%. But she's dumb. She pushes back, so happy you. So yeah, okay, you got a Quinn kill, alright? But that's not on you. That's the Quinn just like saying, hey, I want to dive you. Right? That's
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened.
like you didn't do anything there. Right? The Quinn just said, hey, I want to kill you on the turret, even though I know you have ult, even though I know you have ignite. Or maybe she doesn't know you have ignite, but she should know that you have ult, because Tabor is not here yet. So in this case, the reason why I say like oh, it's like the moment I see Trash, I already know, okay, this should look bad. And what I think you should do here is always just shove in the wave. Why? Because I already see Akali on top side. I don't. In this case, obviously, like if you can use your F keys to look at your champions and your teammates, that's even better. But like in this case, just by looking at the mini map, you already know that okay, Akali looks like she's gonna commit, and Trush is nearby. Myra Khan's not here at all, and my lane looks to be pushing because it's closer to me, and there's even minions, which means now I should just shove the wave and look for a base. Now, in a very small chance, in a really like, there is a world where you shove the wave and you look for a roam. But I think in most cases, like 80% of the time, you shove in this wave, go back, buy a blasting one, buy boots, come back to lane, and just continue laning. Because right now, you're already ahead. You're level 8, Akali should be level 7. Yeah. You are already ahead. Okay, Akali gets a kill, she gets traded back, but now she's not CSing. This is the main part.
Couldn't make her lose like the entire wave of it.
Yeah, you can make her lose like 2 waves, and that's really huge. That's a so
it's like guaranteed.
Yeah, let's look at the maths, right? So one wave is about, so let's say a normal wave, right? 21 times 3. Oh my god, okay, I gotta use my tablet. Okay. So let's say 21 times 3, and then I think like the god, is it 6? Just to be sure, I know it's really, I think it's 14. Caster minions. Okay. 14. Okay, cool. So 14 times 3, 63, god, 42, right? Yeah, 42. So that's like 105 go total. And if there's cannon, early game cannon, I think like it drops like 60 gold. So if that's 2 waves and cannon, you get about 270 go. Assuming that you get to CS at all. Right? Even if you lose cannon, you still get like 210. Right? And you're probably like, okay, well, that's a kill, right? But I think what a lot of people are not thinking about is also the fact that you are getting EXP. Melees give a lot of EXP. Cannons give even more EXP. I don't care about casters. Casters are basically like the trash of minion waves. I think they get bullied in when they spawn. But yeah, like if you're getting gold on top of the fact that you're getting EXP that Akali is not getting. Imagine how ahead you are by not doing anything and just staying in lane. Like, yeah, okay, you got like Quinn, you know, you get like, let's see how much you got like from Quinn. 300 go. Okay, 300 go and enough EXP to level you up. I don't think you get EXP, right? Yeah, it doesn't show. But like enough EXP level up. Now you could do all that, okay? Now again, like this is not you killing the Quinn. This is the Quinn, you know, dying to you. That's a big difference, I think. Right? This would have happened like if Quinn was mid, regardless. Right? This if Quinn wants to die to you, she will die to you, and you will kill her. Right? But the true difference is that if you stay in lane, you're always going to get that 270 gold and a lot of EXP in mid lane. You're always, it's guaranteed, it's consistent. If you come top, now again, this is case by case, and it's not always like this is not always gonna be it, right? Sometimes you can come top, sometimes you get triple, sometimes you get killed. But if you stay mid, you will always get those 220 gold and you know and level up. So yeah, like again, like if Kali is smart, you lose, you've already lost lane.
Like it was a really coin flip thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Hate that term, by the way. But you know, happens. Right here, just small little thing. Hold up, give me 2 seconds. Okay. So right here, you don't really have cooldowns, and Akali used her her Stroud. You can just back up. You don't have to. You don't really have to like force anything here. Especially if the minion wave is like too big for you. You don't really have to force this up. You sort of win the trade, but this is only because you have like items. Like or like the trade is kind of even, but that's only because you have items. If you didn't have items, that would have been quite bad.
It's like a really bad place to stand. Like I
Yeah,
just didn't.
especially if she has Shroud. Yeah, you can just let her be. Like okay, Shroud is a really big deal in this matchup. Actually, Shroud is a really big deal when it comes to Akali. If she has no Shroud, she's quite vulnerable. I'm sure, like in team fights, like if she doesn't pop Shroud in time, she just gets blown the fuck up. Just back up, just back up. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You burn her out. That's fine. I think you miss your. Oh no. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. She doesn't kill you. She burns her out. The wave is okay. You're low. That's fine. Whatever. You can just play this out. You can just slowly lane. No mana. This is the case, right? So this is fine. This looks bad, but it's not the worst. Not the worst. Grab fruits. Go back to lane. Don't force yourself to be in these kind of situations. Like okay, if it thinks it looks bad, it probably is bad. Just go to lane. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. WR. Okay, if it happens once, then I'm probably like, okay, well, you didn't realize it. But if it happened twice, then okay, well, this is bad.
Like if it happens twice with Quinn being like very aggressive.
No. I mean like for your mana. Like right here, right? Right here. You see an opportunity to ult because one, she just used E right here. She just used E. You know she has no E. That means she can't dodge any of your abilities. She can W, but it doesn't dodge damage. It doesn't even give her like bonus resistances anymore, which I think they should put it back. But like, you do this, right? You know she has no E, and notice how like I'm always keeping track of cooldowns. This is something really important that if you can do, you should do. Notice because she has no E, at this point, if you have enough mana, WQR or better QRW, because W is instant. Remember, you can buffer it into your R, and then she dies because she's gonna be stunned. Tiber's gonna go like 300% attack speed, and then you can proto belt. Okay, then Quinn comes, you die, but that's fine because Quinn's gonna be losing on wave topside. 1-for-1 when there's two guys onto you, it's not the worst. But you dying right here and burning flash as well, that's really bad. That's really bad. Because now you don't have flash for like at least like a full 5 minutes. I don't know why the fuck Nocturne's here. What we can learn from Nocturne is like, look at top wave. Why is she here? Why is he here? Oh, this tilts me so hard. Nocturne's like, oh yeah, like let me just take like 6 minions, and get like hundreds, yeah, and just just get like 2 tower platings instead of like no exp at all, almost no exp at all, and lose all the wave top wave. Oh, Kali's back now. My Annie's fucked because. And now Akali, who is... Wait, is she still 9? Let's see. No, she's 10.
10.
Yeah. Akali, who is like, 1.5 levels behind you, is now magically back to the same level as you. And I might even say she's at the same goal as you, but it's because she has tier 2 boots. This is why I think it's weird. Like, why are you bot? Why are you mid? You think that's fucked up? Why am I mid? Of course, the classic flashing the lantern. Let me ask you this. Do you think... Okay, what do you think happened there? And I should specify more. What do you think the enemy could have done there?
Seeing that's like my team was off the map, not try to like be aggressive.
Right. So right here, right? Your whole bot lane died. Okay? Nocturne's mid. Right. Now the reason why like
top?
What's that?
Should I just like go walk
You
top?
you should just walk to you should just walk to mid, because like when you're walking to mid, Nocturne's gonna be a top side and the wave is gonna be back to you. It's whatever. You shouldn't be bothered by bot side because bot like plating's already down, right? If they get first turret, they get first turret. Because like at this point in the game, the reason why I'm asking what the enemy should do is because they should just base. They really should just base. Turret is so healthy, right? Platings are down. They don't get anything by doing this. In fact, they're actually they're making a mistake here, right? Because if they did not have to die to you. Like, why are they still here? Why are they trying to look for something?
Like, if they based, I would have just been like...
Yeah, you would be sad. Miss Fortune would not have to die. She would not have to burn flash. I think Tresh probably... Yeah, Tresh also doesn't have to die. But instead, they're like, hey, I want the turret from like 80%, right? Terrible play. Doesn't make sense. And now this is even worse. Wave is pushing into you. Why are you pushing it? Okay, that's fine. Now you're like, okay. It's almost as if you heard me in the game from the past. Everything makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Here, okay. Mid lane's like getting, destroyed, whatever. Again, not much you can do here. Just slowly farm. Okay, now you see Lee Sin's here.
I think it's...
Yeah. You see Lee Sin? Okay, then you're like, okay, I can sort of push this in. Pro belt, yep, good. And base. It's fine if this tower goes down. You know why?
I'll have more waves pushing in on my side of the map. I
Perfect.
don't know why.
Yes, exactly. Now, that's exactly the case. That and also the fact that plating's already down. Plating's already down. If this turret has to go down, you have to base. I would rather you base. I would, if I were you, I would not try to like force to defend the turret, because I think turrets, like, at this point, like, okay, fine, they can really just die, especially if they're not the mid tier 1 turret. Mid tier 1 turret is really important because that's the center of the map, and if you lose that one, you lose a lot of map. But that's like a whole other explanation. TLDR, if you have to base here, you have gold to spend, you're not full on resources, just go home. Get items, come back, let the wave push into you. You have more leeway to farm from here. And then you might even be able to freeze a lane, or like slow stack a wave so you can farm a bit more. But in this case, like if you, like, let's say in a world where you try to defend it, you might even die. So this is fine. This is perfectly fine for you. Mid lane's dying, there's nothing you can do. Is it your fault that they died? Not really. Could you have done something about it? Maybe you could have roamed to mid, but that's a whole nother wormhole that you don't want to open. Here, okay, I'm just collecting the wave. You can try to freeze this. Maybe you can even sit in the brush to see if Misfortune tries to push this. Sometimes you really have to take advantage of, like, if you really want to climb, right? Tell me, like, what's your goal here? Hit plat, hit diamond.
Sky's the limit.
Okay, the sky's the limit. So rank 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like the confidence. So, but let's have milestones, right? So let's say right now you are your goat tree, right? You have like 500 games in, 50% win rate, right? Let's try to get you to plat 1 or plat 4 first, right? If you really want to climb, you have to try to take in as much little details as you can and abuse them to the max. Again, League is a team game, but solo queue, you only have you that you can rely on, right? If your Sejuani is gonna go, also, you should know by now what you shouldn't do, right? So I'm not gonna explain it.
That was really weird of me.
Yeah.
That I just like
it's instinct.
acted like I wanted to freeze, and then I just like W.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why. Like, psychology, your mind is like a big wave. Yeah, W. Yeah. But in this case, it is fine because you know where everyone is, so it's fine. Like, I think freezing is still better because now you definitely deny them, but because you know where everyone is on the map, so I think it's fine. You see 5 of them on the map, so you can actually just hard shove this, go back, try like see if you can actually group up your team, and if not, then too bad. But what was I saying? Before this,
It was about solo queue. You only have yourself.
right. Like, solo queue, like, as much as it is or like League is a team game, there's only really you that you can really rely on. If your Sejuani wants to go 0-7, she will find a way to go 1-7, right? If she wants to go 1-7-6, not have a lot of farm, she will definitely find. Here, okay, this is a really, really common thing in low elo. You don't know what to do. You're clicking like, oh, you're clicking here, you're clicking here, you're clicking here. You're like, oh shit, should I shove this? Should I base? I don't see them on the map anymore. Do I wanna? Yeah, right. You're like, oh fuck, okay, well, I should just go now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm well, maybe I'm not 100% right, but like, I'm kind of close,
like I have
right?
my tail between my legs.
Yeah. You're like, oh fuck, well,
They're gonna
okay.
come down for drag.
Yeah, they might kill me. I should just wait. This is terrible. Why it's terrible? Because now you don't have a goal. You don't have something to work towards on. Now you're just basically AFK. Maybe it's not that bad, but what I would have done, like, this is just one option, is I might even burn out just to shove this in because I want it to bounce back. I think at this point it will still bounce back because there's a mechanic in the game, I think, like minions, where, like, if the enemy has more kills and they have more turrets, their minions will be stronger. So naturally, it will always push into you. This is in the game because, like, Riot wanted to, like, help teams close out the game, but instead, like, it actually worked against it because now you can actually wait for the waves to come into you. But again, whole other story. I'm not gonna explain it into detail. So in this case, like let's say if the game was slightly more even, I would actually just want to shove that in and just let it push back towards me later. Oh my god, this Sejuani really is allergic to living. Close.
Just ulted for damage.
Close.
I was like,
Close. You could have landed stun, but it's close. I think in that case you probably could have ulted first, but I can understand why you would W because it's instant.
like maybe Q Thresh for the stack. But I mean, I don't. Yeah, like we don't kill her anyways.
Yeah. I mean, you might if you land a stun, because Tibbers actually deal a lot. Like, trust me, a lot of people don't respect Tibbers and they die for it. Just run, just run. Yeah, just run. Just go back. And now this is the fun part, right? This is like, okay, things aren't looking so hot for me. I don't know what the fuck I should be doing. I don't know. I don't know if we can still win this game. Things are looking sketchy here. Everyone is like looking to die. It's normal to think that way because like obviously like you want to win. Like that's the reason why you're climbing this game. Like maybe you have some other reasons like oh it's fun, blah blah blah, whatever. But the main incentive of playing solo queue ranked is because you want to climb. And in this case, um, you have the best indicator to know where you should be what you should be doing and where you should be going. Is you have to look at the map and look at the minions, right? In this case, if you want to join your team, that's fine because what you can do is that you can just shove this wave, collect this wave, and shove your team, and like try to join your team because the enemy is stronger, right? So the waves, like even though it's pushing in, it will naturally push into you because their minions are getting like damage increase bonuses just because the enemy team is ahead. But in another world, you could also probably just shove this in or like freeze this, wait for the next wave to come in, and then shove it slowly, and try to continuously bounce it back. You could do that as well. I think both are fine. The former is like if you know your team is like gonna start a fight. The latter is if you trust your team enough to like just shove it in and keep bouncing it.
I mean, like in my matches, I don't really trust my team to like not.
Perfectly makes sense. Perfectly normal. As you know, prime example of a monkey loss in
Like
the
why?
in the wild. So yeah, that's fine. Shove this. That's okay. You can even let this wave shove into you as well. That's also fine. Because again, because the wave is naturally strong. Like if you click onto it, I don't know if you can see it from the top. Right there, it's 7% stronger and 1% tankier.
Oh, whoa.
You see this? You see it, right? Yeah. Like,
okay,
yeah.
no, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But I see it. Yeah.
I'm trying to not to move my mouse so like the whole interface goes away. Yeah, like you see that? 7% stronger, or well, 1% stronger. I think it's 1% stronger and 7% tankier. I think one way or the other. When you shove, you have to make sure it hits the turret. If the game is even, but in this case, it doesn't matter because again, the waves are stronger, so it doesn't matter. So naturally, it would just shove you. Right now, it's just base, just base, just base. Yeah, just base. Unless you're confident you can kill someone, just base. If you're not, like if you think, oh hey, he's a level higher, he has items, blah 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 blah, then okay, fine. Maybe don't try.
It's a little bit close.
Flash out. There we go. Could have went for W first because there was like an angle for W. W, get both stuns. I might even proto belt first, but I think like W here is also fine. Yeah. Fine. Kite. Wait for cooldowns. Okay, Kun is here. Slowly, take it slow. Q, A. Not bad. Good. Now you can go for Baron. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, now this should be the one, right? Yeah. Nocturne's caught. I love this ping from Rakan. Yo, help my homie out, bro. Yo, I'm coming. Mr. Johnny's base. My whole team's not here, but I'm coming.
Wait, like Sejuani based in like middle of that.
Yeah, oh, base. Oh, actually, it worked out really well for you, surprisingly. I thought they were actually way stronger. Okay, well, it's fine. There we go. There's a lot of like tiny details I'm not explaining because like I think like there's already too much. Like, yeah. Like how to use Baron, when to use Baron. When you have Baron, try not to do this. Because you're wasting Baron. When you have Baron, try to be in minions as much as you can. That way you can siege. Also, there's no way like you're catching them here because Trash has scanner on top. So like he probably saw you. Maybe okay. Actually, no. I guess they just have sixth sense. Maybe. Yeah, like try if you can not to stay in jungle as much as like if you have Baron. If you can again try not to stay in the jungle. Ignite, no ignite. It's kind of satch. Bird. Oh, they're fucked.
I ignite.
Don't you
Wait,
don't you
did
just ult here? No, you didn't. It's still up. Yeah, like like again, the reason why you shouldn't be in the jungle as much when you're baroning is like now none of your barons aren't using baron buff. Also, wouldn't you just
Like-
immediately out after your W lands?
Yeah, I should have. And then
Yeah.
also,
This is close, but you just didn't ignite. So yeah, now you don't have mana, and then now your team's like fuck my life, game's over, blah blah. Still kind of close, honestly. But like at this point, like the game is so like it's so scuffed because like everyone's just running around. No one know what they're doing. Blah blah blah. Ooh, really nice. Really really good. Yep. Wait for your cooldowns. Okay, I'm gonna stop here right here for a bit. But like, do you understand everything I said like prior to all this, like the laning, the
I
waves?
don't understand the importance of like the Baron minions like pushing, like how much stronger they are.
You well, you don't have to know how
Or
much
if, like,
stronger they
that's
get.
not the point.
It's more like the reason why you want to be like let's okay. So I'll go back all the way. I think it's here. Maybe. Yeah, it's here. So look at this, right? Look at sure, you could do this. You could ambush them here, but because you have Baron, the whole point of getting Baron is one, you get like advantages. You know, you naturally you're already getting like a 1500 gold from it. But secondly, and most importantly, you're getting much better stats, and you're also getting Baron power minions. And because you have Baron power minions, you want to look to siege. If you're not using your Baron minions, then you're wasting like a good amount of Baron power. Because now you're just letting the enemy like wait out your Baron timer. Like they're waiting for your Baron timer to run out, and then they'll try to fight you because now they have a better chance. When you have Baron power minions as well, it's harder for the enemy to clear the minion waves as well. Because I think like when minions are Baroned up, they get like magic reduction, right? Magic damage reduction. So look at the wave, right? Oh, okay, it's Fortune and Trish.
It's like under tower.
Yeah, and they just clear it. Boom, it's gone. There's also like again this is like quite complicated. It's like oh, dragon spawning, but I have Baron. If this is the case, and also like the mid lane is also kind of scuffed. Rule of thumb: try if you're in the lead, try to always shove mid lane first, if you can. Like which is 80 to 90%. If you can, try to shove mid lane first. Don't let the enemy shove in. Now, because you let the enemy shove in, the only reason why Quinn is able to come from this direction is because you let her shove, or like your team let her shove this in. She should never be able to shove this in because your team is ahead. But because your team decided to do this, now you're giving them like a good opportunity to come from some directions where they should not be able to come from. The more I look at this guy, I'm like, holy fuck, this Kali wants to die. Actually, really well played from you. It's just that, you didn't get the kill, so you didn't ignite. So everything makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like here, everyone is dancing around, like no one's in mid, minions pushing in.
I think I started thinking at some point like maybe I should have built Leandries this match. Because like they got so tanky.
I think Everfrost is fine as well, honestly. In this matchup because they have Lee Sin. Also, you should take that.
Yeah.
Whenever your jungler gives you the chance to take blue, don't ignore it. Just take it, even if you have blue. Blue is like your oasis. All right, it's.
Oh yeah, we fumble here.
Just run. Just run. Every man for himself. Actually, every man for himself. Just get the fuck out of here. Every man for himself until you go into a bush. Then you can ambush. If you all were in a bush, this is doable. If you aren't in a bush, this is not doable. The reason why if you're in a bush, it's doable because now you have the element of surprise. But because you don't, this is scuffed. Oh, wait, this game's over? No, he's alt tapped. Blah, blah, blah. Now you have to get Now it depends. Like, okay, if you want to get Hat or Void Staff, you check their MR. I think at this point, I think Void Staff is better. It's cheaper, and they're at a point where like they should have enough MR that like Void Staff is a good buy here. Don't get me wrong, I love what's that item? The hat. But like you're at a point where like the enemy is buying enough
This is a Nocturne TP.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now game's over. Okay, cool. Thoughts? Anything?
There's a lot more consistent places for me to be on the map. Is like what I got from that. Like I'm mostly thinking about like when I went top, when I went bots. I could have been. Well, I mean, like when I went bot, I would have been there for after Nocturne pushed in the mid wave.
I think if you really want to climb for now, like what you should focus on, as much as like you should work on, you should also put in some work in terms of like where you should be. I think the main thing that you should work on right now is definitely look at like when you look at like I have this whole thing recorded, so you can look at it again. But like the main thing you should look at is during the laning phase, at least 1 to 6, level 1 to 6, and then 7 and then 8, and then maybe 9. Because those early parts will teach you how to be a better laner. Roaming is something you don't really have to do that much. It's in the game, but it's not something that you must do as a mid laner. In fact, like there's games where you don't really have to roam at all, and you can just win by just staying in lane because plating exists. So if the enemy roams and they made the terrible, because like there's bad roams and there's really good roams, right? If they made a bad roam, you can punish by taking platings. You can punish by taking CS and then not and pushing in CS.
Right. That
Um,
makes sense to me. Like sometimes I see like I mean it doesn't really matter like what champ, but like one of them would be like Victor. Like they
mhm.
don't like I could see like even if I get something done bot lane, like they just stayed mid and like farmed up.
Yep. Because you
And
have to
so like
understand, like if we put it in the numbers, right, like how we did just now, then it's like, oh, okay, obviously staying in lane would have been the better choice. But when you're in the game, you don't think about this. You just think like, okay, kills, 2 kills mean good. Enemy get 2 kills, fuck,
yeah.
something like that, right? We have monkey brains when we're playing the game. That's just something that happens. Um, but yeah, like I guess like you could also put in the perspective of like, okay, if you roam bot, right? What do you really get? Like very likely. Sometimes you can like try to put like find a middle ground. Like best case scenario, you get 3 kills. Worst case scenario is sure you die. Middle ground, you probably get 2 for 1. And then like you also have to ask yourself like again, this is like a lot taken, but like you can also ask yourself, if I go down, can I take that CS? Probably not if the AD is alive, but if the AD dies, then maybe. If the AD is alive, he's gonna be like, "Oh, thanks for coming, thanks for helping me out, but get the fuck out, get the fuck out of my lane. I want to see us." So it really comes down to knowing what you're getting and knowing what you're losing out. But again, um, look at this VOD again. Look at the laning phase. Look at what we talked about. True that. Um, and look at the really small details, like whenever you harass, whenever you're going out, whenever you're not basing, whenever you should be basing. Look at all that and try to input that into your future games. I'm pretty sure these will help you out a lot.
Right. There's like the cannon wave that I pretty much pushed under a tower. I
Yep.
could have got base off for like Dark Seal boots, you said.
Yeah, Dark Seal, like yeah,
Just to, like,
those are fine early game. Yeah, those are fine.
just
Like
to, like get the stats.
get the stats, get more mana, get some health, blah blah blah. And again, like remember, like how would you think Akali would feel if you come back with those health and she can't push the wave in completely? Terrible. Can't play the game. FF. Jungle gap. This is what she's thinking right now, probably, if you did that. But yeah. Is there anything else?
Uh, I think you said like at starts like so you think I should like keep playing Annie? It's like probably what I'm going to do, but like you want to look at champ pool.
Oh right. I mean, I think you have a pretty. I think your Zets is okay. If you want to keep playing Annie, that's fine. If you want to play Zed, I think Zed's a different archetype than Annie. I mean, he is an assassin. I think assassins can somewhat play like what I mentioned, but it also depends on. I think like they pivot more towards like looking for more early skirmishes and whatnot. So what I said like for Annie in this session might not apply to Zed. Um, Basically, if you have like a good amount of like at least 200 games on the champion and your win rate is like 51% or more, I think you're pretty okay on the champion. Although I would say like what you I almost completely missed this. You should definitely work on CSing better. I think that's something you need to work on. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like you can play Zed, you can play Annie, you can even play. I think like even your Viego's not that bad, right? Uh, yeah, yeah, these are fine. Like Zed, I think like Viego. You could probably just play Zed and Annie, and that's fine. Like Zed for your AD mid and Annie for your AP mid. Okay,
Okay.
cool, cool, cool. If you have anything else, I should have just left this people. If you have anything else, just let me know. You know where to find me. I will upload this as soon as I can. It'll be on YouTube. And I'll send you the link after it's uploaded. Okay.
Okay.
Cool, 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 cool. All right. Good luck, dude. I'll see
Cool.
you. I'll see you around.
Bye.
All right. Bye. See ya.